Hey guys, what's up? Destiny Gold back for another video. Today we got the team together and we talked about some stuff to do with Destiny, some common pet peeves that have been going around, and things people have been complaining about. So we wanted to talk today about what Destiny is. And it's an RPG. It's not an FPS. So I wanted to go over this today, so without any further ado, let's dive right in. Destiny is an RPG with FPS elements in it, not the other way around. When you buy Destiny, you are purchasing a full-on RPG with grinding, RNG loot systems, heavy reliance on teamwork, time investment, and creativity. This is not some Call of Duty game where you can just get up and run around and shoot whatever gets in your way. You have to think about your setup and weapons to best suit your needs depending on what you're doing. That can change vastly whether you're working with friends or doing this solo, especially when you get to harder events like raids, Iron Banner, and Nightfall strikes. And there's a lot of different things people talk about on the forums. I'm a big time forum lurker, and so are several other members of the team, and we see this all the time where people will complain about, oh, the RNG loot system is so unfair, a noob can get the best weapon in the game. Well, there's a couple of things to think about. Yeah, a person who just starts the game might get really lucky and get a Hawk Moon right off the bat, but you know what? The chances that that same RNG will follow them through the rest of the game is pretty small. So yeah, they might get lucky once or twice, but chances are not going to reward them all the way through the game. They're going to have to go do the raids, they're going to have to get the best weapons and the best gear in the game to remain the best. The best players are the ones that invest the time into the game like any real RPG. The RNG loot system is really common to hardcore RPGs like Diablo, World of Warcraft, all that stuff. People have to go and spend hours trying to grind and get these one lucky drops that they get where they finally get that weapon they want. There's a certain satisfaction that RPG players get from that. We get that, holy crap, yes, I spent 30 hours trying to get this, I finally got it, woo, let's go party, and then go back to grinding, all that kind of stuff. We love that feeling. RPG players this is native to RPGs, especially PC games. Let me start there. If you ever played Diablo or RuneScape or World of Warcraft, any of these RPGs, you are used to this. You know what it takes to get these weapons, and RPG players are ready for this in Destiny. However, people that are coming over from Halo and Call of Duty have never experienced this before. At least most people probably haven't experienced this kind of RNG loot system before, and they get really upset when they try something once or twice and don't get awarded the best weapon in the game. They're so used to being babied where you just get this, oh, I'm going to complete this mission one time and just be given the best weapon in the game because I'm guaranteed to get it and I never have to try it again. Well, that's not the way RPGs work. The way RPGs work is you go through the same level 100, 200, 300 times and hope you get the best weapon that you can out of it. If you get it on your first try, that's what I was talking about earlier. It's dumb luck. Yes, a person who's never done it before may get it on their first try. For example, the first time I did Vault of Glass, I had never done it before. I got the Vex Mythoclast, I got the Prime Zealot Greaves, or the Hunter Boots, whatever they're called. I got the ship, I got the shader, and I got some other weapon, I actually forgot what it was. But anyway, I got a whole bunch of crap my first time through, and people were really pissed off at me, and I can see that now. I got very lucky, but I'll tell you, the number of times I've had that luck is incredibly low. You don't get that very often. So, moving on from the RNG loot system, because that is kind of like, I don't know, it's a pet peeve of a lot of people, but moving on now. The point of the game, and this is something you have to remember, Destiny doesn't start, and just similar to other RPGs actually, like Diablo, the point of the game is to get the best gear. The game doesn't start until the second you hit level 20. Then it becomes a race to see who can get the highest light level and who can do it the fastest with the best setup. If it was handed to you, it would remove the primary point of the game. If you were guaranteed a full set of raid gear for completing the raid once, no one would ever play the raid a second time for any reason. They would just do it and that'd be the end of it. Unless you're weird like me and you just like screaming at people in the middle of a firefight. That's just, I don't know, that's me. But if it was handed to you, it would just remove the primary purpose of the game of going back over and over again to finally get that piece of gear you want, with those perks you want, with those stats you want, all that stuff. There is a such thing as a perfect piece of gear, and that's what the real RPGers are looking for. So now moving on again, weapon upgrades, skill trees for characters, subclasses, etc. All this stuff is the mark of an RPG game. You don't see those type of game mechanics in typical FPS games. You can make the argument that, oh, Call of Duty, you have weapon perks, you have character perks or whatever, and you have weapon upgrades where you can put on like scopes and sights. Yeah, that's cool and all. And there is a little bit of that there, but the primary, if you look at most FPS games, let me just say that, most FPS games, you don't have that kind of stuff, and you certainly don't have the extension of it that you have in Destiny. Now, a lot of other games, like, say Borderlands series, for example, that's a whole other tier entirely, but actually, I would even argue that that's more of an RPG, to be totally honest, but Destiny on its own is really, really RPG-based in this sense, where you have to think about, you can make your weapon different from somebody else's just based on the virtue of what upgrades you have. Now, obviously, there's going to be some upgrades that everybody always chooses, say Perfect Balance or Field Scout, where you make a decision, but there's going to be some person, say if it's a really high recoil gun, everyone's going to take probably the Perfect Balance perk. I mean, that's just the way that people are going to take it. Anyway, last thing I wanted to hit on, expect to grind when playing this game. A lot of people, and this is actually one of the biggest complaints I see on the forums, is that people are like, oh, this game is so grind heavy, I have to do 1,000,000 rock strikes a day to get the one thing I want. Not only does this touch back to what I was saying earlier, but it's, once again, I'll say it again, it's an RPG. Expect to grind. Grinding is the heart and soul of RPG games. RPGs almost always have some sort of grinding involved. It doesn't matter if you're playing Pokemon or if you're playing Destiny or if you're playing Diablo. You're going to grind a lot. It just depends on what you're grinding for. In truly good FPS games, RPG games will have an aspect where you can grind for almost anything in the game. And you can do that in Destiny. You can grind for Glimmer. You go pop on a black wax idol and sit in the dark below, whatever it's called, Dark Beyond, and shoot at thralls for an hour. Yes, you can grind Glimmer. You can grind Ingrams if you go to a loot cave or something. You can grind for exotic weapons, I guess, if you want to go to Rock Strikes or Crucible and just sit there and play for a few hours. That's considered grinding. You're going for something where you have a higher chance of getting a drop of that item or that thing that you want to get than somewhere else. You can go grind for materials. You can go run around and look for materials. You can grind bounties for experience. You can grind almost anything in Destiny, and that's incredibly important of an RPG to have, to be able to grind for anything where you're not guaranteed too much of it at once, but you are guaranteed a small amount so that you can do it over and over again to finally achieve the goal you want, whether it's enough money to buy that item or you finally get the drop that you've been waiting for several months. Anyway, the point is you can grind. And that pretty much actually wraps up my commentary for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a bit longer, but I hope you guys have an excellent day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Destiny Gold, out.